Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, my dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita session. Today is June 2nd, 2025. We are reading from the Madhya Leela of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The chapter is chapter 8, entitled Talks Between Sri Ramananda Rai and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. In this, Srila Ramananda Rai was explaining the sadhana to achieve the highest possible goal, which is to gain entrance into the conjugal pastime of Radha and Krishna, to serve Sri Sri Radha Krishna in conjugal rasa. That is the topmost possible sadhya or goal, how one can come there. So there, Srila Ramananda Rai explained that he explained the exalted position of the gopīs, how they are participating, they are able to understand this rasa, and also they are expanding this rasa. Without them, that rasa wouldn't be complete. They are expanding that rasa, and without them, Krishna wouldn't be able to relish that rasa so perfectly. So anyone who is greedy to enter into Radha Krishna's pastimes as a servant, they must follow in the footsteps of the gopis. They must develop the bhava, the ecstasy of the gopis. That is the only way. There is no other way. Without serving the sakhis, there's no way that one can gain entrance into Radha Krishna pastimes. Then after that, we also read about the the wonderful, inexplicable, that means you can't find this in this material world, nature of the sakhis. What is their natural inclination? They don't want to enjoy with Krishna themselves. Rather, they they get such pleasure, whatever pleasure they get by participating directly with Krishna in conjugal pastimes, whatever pleasure they derive by enjoying with Krishna directly, they derive 10 million times more pleasure by bringing Sri Radha Krishna together, by serving Srimati Radharani and Krishna together, bringing Srimati Radharani to Krishna. And when Krishna enjoys, they get more pleasure than when they are personally enjoying with Krishna. This is the super excellent quality of the gopis, of the Sakhis. Then we also saw how Srimati Radharani is compared to a creeper, which is made of prema. What prema? Mahabhava, the highest form of prema. And the gopis are, what is the relationship between Srimati Radharani and the gopis? The gopis are like the flowers, twigs, and leaves on this creeper. So when you water the creeper, right, when you sprinkle water on the creeper, which parts of the creeper move first? The tips, right? The twigs or the flowers on the tips, the buds, right? They are the leaves, they are the ones that move first. So similarly, when Srimati Radharani is sprinkled with the pastimes of Krishna, who is deriving the highest pleasure? The Sakhis are deriving great pleasure in that. Then also we saw that just like the gopis don't desire to enjoy with Krishna directly, Srimati Radharani also, she actually derives more pleasure when she pushes the gopis to Krishna. This is her nature. The nature of Srimati Radharani is that she makes great endeavor to induce Krishna to enjoy himself with the gopis. Like this. This is Srimati Radharani's nature. And in this way, there is, what do you say? Like the gopis are trying to send Srimati Radharani to Krishna, and Srimati Radharani is trying to send the gopis to Krishna. So that this type of mutual behavior amongst the gopis and Srimati Radharani, this gives great satisfaction to Krishna. This behavior is in transcendental Krishna prema. So when Krishna sees how the gopis are so advanced in Krishna prema, when he sees how they are trying to push each other towards Krishna, Krishna becomes super satisfied. He becomes very satisfied. So in this way, we saw the natural characteristic of the gopis. Then another important thing to note here is, how is this possible that they're deriving more pleasure by sending someone else to Krishna than enjoying themselves? Because the nature of love and lust are completely different. Lust means when I want to satisfy my own senses. Whereas love means, especially when we are talking, because there is no love in the material world, right? Let's just admit it. So, but love, transcendental love, Krishna prema, means the desire and the endeavor to please the senses of Krishna. So because the gopis, so that is the difference between kama and prema. Nijendriya vancha, right? Trying to satisfy one's own senses, that is kama. But wanting to give pleasure to, what is gopis bhava? What is the ecstasy of the Sakhis? Wanting to satisfy Krishna's senses, wanting to please Krishna. This is their love. So the dealings of the gopis with Krishna are not on the material platform. They are not on the platform of lust. Rather, they are on the platform of pure love of Godhead, Krishna prema. And on the highest level, right, we see there are various rasas, Dasya rasa, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. The topmost is Madhurya rasa. So their dealings with Krishna are not on the platform of material lust, or we may call material love. Rather, their dealings are always on the platform of pure love of Godhead. But sometimes we use the word kama. to refer to the gopis' love for Krishna. Why? Because they resemble the loving dealings between boys and girls in this world, right? So when a young man and a young woman, they fall in love, their emotions and their, feelings, their activities, externally, the gopis' relationship with Krishna resembles externally the loving dealings between a young boy and young girl. So therefore, sometimes the word karma is used for the gopis, but we should always remember that there is no karma, no trace of karma. It is completely on the platform of pure transcendental love. Then, so we also saw every statement that is made is substantiated by a shloka. How we see that the gopis are saying that we fear that when Krishna is walking in the forest, his lotus feet may be pricked by stones or thorns in the forest. And they're thinking Krishna's lotus feet are so soft. They're in great anxiety, thinking that, we consider our breasts to be too hard for his lotus feet. What will happen when these stones and thorns prick his lotus feet? So, with that fear, with that concern, they're always in great anxiety, right? They're always disturbed, thinking of the pain of Krishna. That means their meditation is always Krishna's pleasure, not their own enjoyment. So, now we are looking at the sadhana that one has to take to in order to reach, in order to attain this highest result, or the highest possible goal, or you can say pleasure. So the sadhana is to follow in the footsteps of such gopis. One who is attracted by the ecstatic love of the gopis, if anyone is actually greedy to get this type of gopi bhava, what should he do? What is the instruction for such a person who really wants to get this type of love that the gopis have? What type of love do the gopis have? Spontaneous love, spontaneous loving devotional service. So if anyone wants the ecstatic love that the gopis have for Krishna, if anyone wants that type of love, what should they do? They should give up all types of sarva dharman parityaja. That is there, of course. Sarva dharman parityaja means all varnashrama dharmas, everything finished. Now, simply doing pure unalloyed devotional service, that means direct devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So you have to do sadhana bhakti like this. And in that also, while doing sadhana bhakti, we discussed there is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. The gopis' love for Krishna is on the raga marga. Raga marga means it is driven by, it is spontaneous devotional service. In raga marga, that continuous devotional service is driven by that taste, that ruchi. It's not driven by rules and regulations. So therefore, you have to give up all dharmas, and at one point, you should even give up all rules and regulations. That means you shouldn't be so concerned about rules and regulations. Rather, you have to switch to spontaneous devotional service. Of course, that comes much later. And after all, anarthas are destroyed. And after one gets to nishta, and then ruchi comes, and ruchi and asakti stages, then by the inspiration of Chaitya Guru, and with the help of the spiritual master and Chaitya Guru, he has to willingly, deliberately make that shift from Vaidhi sadhana bhakti to Raganuga sadhana bhakti. So therefore, here it is said that if anyone is greedy, if anyone desires to get that gopi bhava, what should he do? He has to come to the point of sharanagati first of all, sarva dharman parityaja. Now, how do you give up all your duties? Just externally simply giving up, that's not the point. For us to give up all these duties, first of all, we should get firm faith in Krishna. So we have to develop that Sudrida Vishwas, right, in bhakti. That simply if I do Krishna conscious activities, simply if I do bhakti to Krishna, all my activities will be perfected. I don't need to do anything else. This type of firm faith, when we get, then we'll be able to give up all varnashrama dharmas. And that is required. So we need to get firm faith and we have to give up all varnashrama dharmas. And then we have to start pure unalloyed devotional service 24 by 7. And in that also, when we come to Ruchi Asakti stages, after crossing all the previous stages, when we shift to spontaneous devotional service, Raganuga Bhakti, then only by proceeding further higher, you can come to, you can get the bhava that the gopis have. So then, do you have any examples of anyone who has achieved the bhava of the gopis like this by giving up all rules, regulations, and everything? Do we have any examples? So then we saw about 1 second. Let me see. There was one verse that was said. Yeah. Okay, so this is just a statement by Srila Vishwanath, by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, or maybe by Srila Ramananda Rai. If one worships the Lord on the path of spontaneous love and goes to Vrindavan, he receives the shelter of Rajendra Nandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj. So, yes. So, why it is suggested that if you really want the Gopi Bhava, then you should give up all your dharmas? Because when you take to the path of Raganuga Bhakti, the natural destination, if you are on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, the destination will be you'll go to Vraja. Who is there in Vraja? Rajendra Nandan Kṛṣṇa, the son of Nanda Maharaj Kṛṣṇa, surrounded by all his Brajbasis. There the gopis, Sakhis are also there. So that if you are on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, then your destination is, you will reach the shelter of Kṛṣṇa, Rajendra Nandan Kṛṣṇa, that is said. Then, in his liberated stage, the devotee is attracted by one of the 5 humors in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As he continues to serve the Lord in that transcendental mood, he attains a spiritual body to serve Kṛṣṇa and Golok Vrindavan. So, continuation of that Raganuga Bhakti is explained. So, when you are on the path of Raganuga Marga, the ultimate destination is, yes, you reach Brajendra Nandan Kṛṣṇa. How that happens? So, when you are progressing on that path, so actually, in Raganuga Bhakti also, in Vraja also, various mellows are there. You have Dasya Bhakti, you have Sakhya Rasa, you have Vatsalya Rasa, you have Madhurya Rasa. So different rasas are there. So it all depends on the association that you get. Then based on that association, whoever you are following, then that's the destination you get. In that particular rasa, you get relationship with the Supreme Lord. So that mode will be decided based on association. That is the point. Here, what is being said is that if you follow Raganuga Marga, you will go to Vraja, and in Vraja, you will get a relationship with Kṛṣṇa. That's the point. The first shloka is saying that first shloka said that if you want the love that the gopis have, you have to take to Raganuga Marga. Second shloka said that when you are on Raganuga Marga, your destination is, you'll get shelter of Rajendra Nandan Kṛṣṇa, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Then the next verse is saying that in Vraja, there are different relationships, right? There are different relationships. So when you go to Vraja, you'll get one of the 5 relationships based on your particular transcendental mood. That's the point. So when you'll get actually a relationship with Kṛṣṇa in one of these 5 moods. So, is there an example of someone who followed the footsteps of the gopis and actually reached Nanda Maharaj and attained the Gopi Bhava that the gopis have. So in that context, we saw that the Vedas, the Upanishads, so the Upanishads, so there we discussed that the different types of gopis. There are 4 types of gopis. Rishichara gopis, Shrutichara gopis, and then Nitya Priya Sakhis or Nitya Siddha gopis. And the 4th one is Devatachara gopis. Devatachara gopis. That means the demigods consorts whose expansions come to take birth in Vraja with the desire. So they serve the Nitya Siddha gopis, and then they are also, by following in the footsteps of the gopis, they are also going to Vraja. They are also getting shelter of Vrajendra Nandan Kṛṣṇa in conjugal rasa. So these are the 4 types of gopis. So in these 4 types of gopis, we are talking about the Shrutichara gopis, the Upanishads. So in the 10th canto, 87th chapter, it's called Veda Stuti. The Vedas are glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The context is like this. Anyway, we don't need to discuss the context here about how that comes, because this is Chaitanya Charitamrita class. Maybe another time we can discuss. But the Vedas are glorifying. That whole chapter is called Veda Stuti. The Vedas are glorifying. You know when the Vedas are glorifying? At the time of creation. When Karanodakashayi Vishnu glances on Prakriti, at that time, Kala Shakti enters Prakriti. Vedas are also entering into Prakriti at that time. So just at the time of creation, just when the Lord is, about to glance, right? He's just, so at that time, the Vedas appear, personified Vedas, personality, and they are singing and glorifying the Lord. Just like when you want, when somebody like Suprabhatam, right? When you want to wake up the Lord in the morning, all the devotees, they are glorifying the Lord. My Lord, you're so wonderful, you're so great. Uttishta, Uttishta, wake up, my Lord, wake up, like that. So the Vedas are also glorifying the Supreme Lord there, Veda Stuti. How the Lord is wonderful, how the Lord is great, like that. So in that Veda Stuti, there's much glorification of the Lord given. So there they are expressing their desire to follow in the footsteps of the gopis. From that we understand that by seeing the exalted position of the gopis, the love of the gopis, the Vedas also are getting a desire to follow in the footsteps of the gopis and to develop the love of the gopis. So they appear when Kṛṣṇa, during Krishna's pastimes on this earth, when Kṛṣṇa appeared, which is in the previous Dwapar Yuga. Now we are in Kali Yuga, the Dwapar Yuga before this, 5,000 years ago. Then the Shrutis, these are personified Shrutis, Vedas, they appeared as gopis, Vraja Gopikas in Vraja. And by following in the footsteps of the Nitya Siddha gopis, they also reached. They got shelter of Kṛṣṇa in Vraja. So those saintly persons who represent the Upanishads are vivid examples of this by worshipping the Lord on the path of spontaneous love. Spontaneous love means Raganuga Marga, Raganuga Bhakti. They attained the lotus feet of Rajendra Nandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj. So what are we discussing here? The sadhana, right? The sadhana is you have to follow Raganuga Marga. Raganuga Marga means you are following in the footsteps of the gopis. So with that, we will come to today's shloka. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 87th chapter, where the Vedas are, this is the verse spoken by the Vedas. So this shloka is substantiating the statement of Ramananda Rai, Srila Ramananda Rai, that the Vedas also attained the shelter of Rajendra Nandan Krishna in conjugal relationship by following in the footsteps of the gopis. What is the meter for this? Anyway, I'll just read it. Nibhrita marun manoksha dridha yoga yujo hridiyan munaya upasate tad arayopi yayuh smaranat striya uragendra bhoga bhuja danda vishakta dhiyo vayamapite samaha samadrishongri saroja sudhaha. Great sages conquer the mind and senses by practicing the mystic yoga system and controlling the breath. Who are they? They're controlling their breath, practicing mystic yoga system, Ashtanga yogis. Yes, those who are practicing Ashtanga yoga by pranayama, controlling their breath, by following, fixing your mind, meditating like that. So controlling their mind. So great sages conquer the mind and senses, yama niyama, right? Asana pranayama, like this Ashtanga yoga, practicing Ashtanga yoga, one is conquering his mind, his senses, and controlling his breath, practicing mystic yoga. And by doing this, what are they achieving? Thus, engaging in mystic yoga, they see the super soul within their hearts and ultimately enter into impersonal Brahman. So, this is you see, Ashtanga yoga process has various destinations. Actually speaking, if we can, let me see if my diagram is here. If not, I'll just have to draw it. But all of you are familiar, right, with the transcendental diagram. On the left side is Jnana Marga, on the right side is Bhakti Marga. There's only two margas. And then the third one is the connection between the two. That which connects, that which is the entry door. That means for you to enter into Jnana Marga or to enter into Bhakti Marga, there is an entry door, Dwara Bhutam. That is Karma Arpanam. That's all. There's only three paths given in Shastra. Karma, Jnana and Bhakti. Only three. Ashtanga Yoga is not counted as a separate yoga path. It's not counted. Because the path for achieving Paratattvam, the path for turning towards Paratattvam is based on how one realizes Paratattvam. Paratattvam or absolute truth. Paratattvam means absolute truth. Absolute truth can be realized only in two forms. One is Savishesha, the other one is Nirvishesha. Nirvishesha means without any attributes, without any qualities. Savishesha means with qualities. So Paratattvam is realized only in two ways, either as Nirvishesha or Savishesha. So therefore there are only two paths. One who realizes absolute truth in Nirvishesha form, the path that he takes is known as Jnana Yoga. One who realizes absolute truth in Savishesha form, the path which he takes is known as Bhakti Yoga. Now within Savishesha you have two types, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Paramatma has some attributes. Bhagavan has all attributes. Whereas Nirvishesha means no attributes. Okay? So, based on how you realize Paratattvam or absolute truth, there are only two paths, Jnana and Bhakti. But for someone to take to Jnana Marga, he needs some qualification. Do you want me to write or is it okay without writing? You're able to follow without writing? Or would you like me to write? No comments.
Able to follow, Mataji.
You're able to
Writing.
They are able to follow.
Writing.
Okay, good. What did you say, Prabhuji?
Writing.
Write it. Okay, I'll just write it. Because those who are able to follow, no problem for them. But if you're not able to follow, even if one person is saying, then I'll have to do that. I'll keep it simple. I won't make it elaborate. So I'm saying what we are talking about here is about this sages who, by practicing Ashtanga Yoga, they are controlling their mind and controlling their breath. Very difficult. This path is very difficult. And by doing all this, how are they realizing? They're realizing Paramatma in the heart. So what I was telling you is, see, this is absolute truth, also known as Paratattvam. And to realize absolute truth can be realized in two ways, as Nirvishesha, and the other one is Savishesha. What is Nirvishesha? Nirvishesha means without any attributes, no form, no qualities, like that. Savishesha means with qualities. Now, the path by following which one realizes absolute, by the way, I must tell you one important point here. Absolute truth means, what is who is absolute truth? Who is absolute truth?
Oh.
Sri Krishna. When you say absolute truth means Krishna only. That is absolute truth. Okay? But Krishna, does Krishna have attributes or not? Oh, he has wonderful, beautiful form, two-handed form, right? He has the complexion like a rain cloud, and he has a peacock feather, and he's always playing his flute. Krishna has a beautiful form, and he has his parents, his friends, his gopīs. So much is there. So, Krishna has so many attributes. But someone who's, able to see the absolute truth, just partially, he's able to see the absolute truth partially. He sees that absolute truth as Nirvishesha. This is nothing but Brahman. He's seeing Krishna only, but he's only seeing him partially. Why he is seeing partially? Because his bhakti is very meager. Very little bit bhakti will reveal only partially absolute truth. So he's seeing as Brahman. And Savishesha, within Savishesha, now you have two. There is Paramatma and there is Bhagavan. Within Savishesha also there is two, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So Paramatma means more attributes than Brahman. Some. What are those attributes for Paramatma? In Paramatma, the attributes are, he is the controller of Prakriti. Tatastha and Bahiranga Shakti, he is the controller, right? So he is controller or Ishvara, like that. That's all. You don't see his pastimes, and yes, he has a form. Savishesha means he has form, of course, right? But in addition to form, he also has the quality of controllership. That is Paramatma. But all attributes you don't see. You don't see the pastimes of, like various rasas in which, the devotees relate to the Lord. All that is not seen. Who is Paramatma? Paramatma is also Krishna. But you're seeing only a little more bhakti they have. Those who have a little bit more bhakti than following Jnana Yoga, then they see the absolute truth as Paramatma. Some more attributes are there. But when you say Bhagavan, Bhagavan means full. You're able to see all his attributes. Then you realize absolute truth as Bhagavan. So the path that one takes to realize Nirvishesha absolute truth, that path is known as Jnana Yoga. And the path taken by to realize the absolute truth in Savishesha. Savishesha means it may be either Paramatma or Bhagavan. It can be either. Together they are categorized as Bhakti Yoga. So, just like we said, Savishesha Brahman can be realized either as Paramatma or Bhagavan. So, similarly, within this Bhakti Yoga also, you will have categories. Yes? So, you can have, on a broad level, it is said Bhakti Yoga, but this can be Shuddha Bhakti, where one is realizing Bhagavan. And if somebody is after Mukti, right? I want to go to Vaikuntha, I want to get different types of liberation. For that, I follow Ashtanga Yoga. He can follow Ashtanga Yoga. and he can go to Paramatma. That means he gets liberation. He realizes Paramatma. That's one path. Ashtanga Yoga can fall either on the right side in Bhakti Yoga path, or Ashtanga Yoga can also, so here, Ashtanga Yoga can also fall on the left side, depending on what is the objective, right? So here also Ashtanga Yoga is possible, right? So you may be following Ashtanga Yoga when your goal is Nirvishesh Brahman. By following Ashtanga Yoga, if you want Brahma Prapti, then that Ashtanga Yoga will be counted as Jnana. It will come on this side, left side. By following Ashtanga Yoga, either you're meditating on Paramatma to get Mukti, or you're following Ashtanga Yoga to go to the spiritual world. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he practiced Ashtanga Yoga, but he realized Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So either is possible. So therefore, Ashtanga Yoga is not counted as a separate path. It's not counted as a separate Samukhyam or path for realizing absolute truth. It is a tool. Depending on your goal, if you want Brahman, then Ashtanga Yoga, by following Ashtanga Yoga, if you're attaining Brahman, you're getting Brahma Prapti, then this Ashtanga Yoga will be counted as Jnana Yoga. By following Ashtanga Yoga, if you're realizing either Paramatma or Bhagavan, then Ashtanga Yoga will be counted as Bhakti Yoga. So therefore, there are only two paths, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. And then there is a third one here. The third one is called Karma Arpanam. What is this third one? For someone to enter into Jnana, some qualification is required. Similarly, for someone to begin Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, some qualification is required. Okay. So now here I'm not talking about this Ashtanga Yoga. I'm just talking about Shuddha Bhakti. Okay, maybe I'll just remove this. Karmarpanam. So if somebody wants to begin Shuddha Bhakti, some qualification is required here. So until you get this qualification, so what is the qualification here? To begin Jnana Yoga, what is the qualification? Detachment or Antahkarana Shuddhi. Antahkarana Shuddhi, or it is also called full detachment. Okay, full detachment. Such a person only is eligible to take to Jnana Marga. Until he gets Jnana, until he gets this qualification, he has to do what? Nishkama Karma Yoga he has to practice. When he gets perfection in Nishkama Karma Yoga, then he will get qualification which is Antahkarana Shuddhi, or fully detached. He'll become detached. Then he can start Jnana Yoga. Similarly, on this side, the qualification to begin Shuddha Bhakti is Dhrida Shraddha. Dhrida Shraddha. Until he gets Dhrida Shraddha, he has to do Daiva Varnashrama Dharma. Daiva Varnashrama Dharma. That means he has to do his karma, and also he's associating with devotees. He's practicing some chanting and worship. He's increasing more and more until he gets full faith. Once he gets full faith, then he takes to the path of Shuddha Bhakti. 24/7 he's doing only Sakshat Bhakti. So until he gets this, he has to do. Therefore, there are only three paths to realize the absolute truth. Actually, there are only two paths, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. But because I don't have qualification for either Jnana or Bhakti, and this person is who? Actually, we are karmis here. Before we come in touch with the sadhu, we are karmis. So this karmi is qualified to do only karma. Karmi is qualified for what? Karma. Why? Because he has lot of desires and he identifies with the body. So his qualification is to do karma. So therefore that his natural qualification has to be used here. So he is advised to do karma, but do it in a certain way. Offer the result of that karma to the Lord. By that you will become purified. By that you will come to the mode of goodness. So one who wants to go into Jnana, he will practice Nishkama Karma Yoga. One who wants to go into Bhakti, he will practice Daiva Varnashrama Dharma. Daiva Varnashrama Dharma means he'll have to do both. In both cases, he has to do simplified work only. but he will continue like that. So now, why I was saying this, Ashtanga Yogi, here it is said that he will achieve the shloka which we were reading in Caitanya Charitamrita said that so in Ashtanga Yoga, what are the steps, Yama, Niyama, right? Then pranayama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. These are the stages of Ashtanga. There are 8 angas. That's why Ashtanga Yoga, 8 steps, 8 angas. So here in Dhyana stage, what is happening? In Dhyana stage, actually it starts in Dharana itself. In Dharana, now he is meditating. He is meditating on Paramatma in the heart. Because you need an object to fix your mind. You have to, Ashtanga Yoga means it's about smaranam. So for you to meditate, you need an object. So this, he's a mumukshu. Mumukshu means he desires to liberate, go and merge into Brahman. But the path he has taken for liberation is Ashtanga Yoga. So in Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Pranayama, Asana, Pratyahara he is following to control his mind and fix his mind on his goal. How will one meditate on Brahman? Is it possible? Kṛṣṇa himself says, Kleshodikatarastesham avyakta asakta chetasam. Very, very difficult because we have a body, we have a mind, we have senses. For someone who has this body to meditate on something which has no form, no quality, how will you meditate? So therefore, he takes the help of meditating on Paramatma. He will start meditating. So this practice is there. It's given in Ashtanga Yoga Paddhati. That system is there in Shastra. He will follow that and he will start meditating on Paramatma. In that also there are, many details are there. Like first, if he's not pure enough, he will meditate on Virata Purusha. Then when he gets some purification, he can now meditate either on Garbhodakashaya Vishnu or Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. One way or the other, he meditates. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu means he'll meditate on Paramatma in the heart. So as soon as he gets that focus, right, he's able to meditate on Paramatma. Once his mind becomes fixed, dharana means, anyway, the details we don't need at this point. But when he meditates, his mind is not going back here and there. It's not getting deviated. Right? He's able to get that meditation on Paramatma. You know what he will do? Because his destination is Brahman. So now immediately he will move his attention away from Paramatma. He gets attention on Paramatma. Mind is not deviating here and there. He will move his attention away from Paramatma onto empty space in the heart. It's called Hridaya Akasha. In the heart. So Paramatma is in the heart. So then when he gets focus, dhyana on Paramatma, now he will turn his attention away onto the empty space in the heart called Hridaya Akasha, the sky in the heart. Why? Because his destiny is he wants Brahman. Like that, meditating on Hridaya Akasha, now mind is not going here and there. So this is one way of Jnana Yoga. The other way of Jnana Yoga which we see, both are said in Bhagavad Gita, in 5th and 6th chapters we see. So the other way of Jnana Yoga is where Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya and follows Jnana sadhanas, right? Tvam Padartha Jnana, Tat Padartha Jnana, Aikya Jnana, and finally he goes and merges. That's one way. But by Ashtanga Yoga, this is the way. Following Ashtanga Yoga, meditating on Paramatma to get your focus. Once you get, he moves his eyes away. And then now he's meditating on Brahman, on empty space. And by doing that, ultimately, he will go and merge into Brahman. And that merging into Brahman also has 2 paths, Kramamukti, Sadyamukti, like that. So he will go and he'll get. But the point is, how difficult is this path? That's what you're supposed to understand here. So let's go back to this verse. Great sages conquer the mind and senses by practicing the mystic yoga system and controlling the breath, thus engaging in mystic yoga. What do they achieve after all this hard work? drilling your mind, controlling your breath, and such severe, hard, difficult process. After following this, what do they achieve? They see the super soul within their hearts. And after seeing the super soul, what do? Ultimately enter into impersonal Brahman. Why I took the time to explain all this is, you may wonder that Brahman realization is less, isn't it? Partial. Higher than Brahman is Paramatma realization, because there are some attributes. And even higher is Bhagavan. So this person meditated on Paramatma, and then now he is meditating on Brahman. What is this, you may wonder? That is a path. That's how they follow. Those who follow that particular path. And there are actually many varieties in this also. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we come across the Kuyogi, right? That is one category. Then also those who are meditating on Virat Purusha, that is another category. Ultimately going into Brahman, getting Brahman realization, that is one. So various possibilities are there here. But the point is, after such difficult process, all he's getting is, he is able to go and merge into Brahman. Now look at the gopis. But even the enemies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead attain that position simply by thinking of the Supreme Lord. They are not doing all this, controlling your breath, yama, niyama, and asana, pranayama, pratyahara. No need of doing all this. The enemies like Kamsa, like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, all the enemies, all the demons who are out of fear or out of enmity, one way or the other, they're thinking of the Lord, and by that thinking, simply by that, they're able to get the same destination as these great, great Ashtanga yogis. Ashtanga yogis, for how many? It's not that they practice for 1 year or 2 years or one lifetime even. Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo. Shatavatsara, matlab hundreds of years. Pantastu koti, not shatavatsara, koti shatavatsara. My God. Matlab, meaning koti shata. What is koti shata? Hundreds of crores. Hundreds of crores of years they are practicing like this. Ashtanga yoga. And after all that, will they get darshan of Kṛṣṇa? Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayo rathapi manaso munipungavanam. Vayo rathapi, controlling their breath. Manaso munipungavanam, controlling their minds. These munis, after hundreds of crores of years practicing such severe system, vayo rathapi manaso munipungavanam sopyasti yat prapadasimnya vichintya tatve. Still, after all this, they cannot get darshan of Kṛṣṇa. All they can get, the achievement that they get is Paramatma, and not so easily. The point is how difficult it is even to get that, that Brahman realization through Ashtanga Yoga, or let's say even if they got Paramatma realization and, they got Mukti in Paramatma, how difficult it is, how long they have been practicing. On the other hand, when it comes to Bhagavan, Kṛṣṇa, even his enemies, they are not serving Kṛṣṇa with love, following the rules and regulations. No. They don't have love for Kṛṣṇa. No. They hate Kṛṣṇa. But even the enemies, they are getting the destination that these great, great sages are getting. Matlab, just see the comparison. That which is their highest goal for the yogis, simply by even the enemies. What you should see is, if even the enemies are getting this, what to speak of the devotees? Can you imagine what the devotees must be getting? Even the enemies who hate Kṛṣṇa, they are getting the result which Brahman, merging into Brahman, Sayujya Mukti, which these great, great tapasvis and yogis, right? For crores and hundreds of crores of years, they are doing this yoga, and what they are achieving, even the enemies of Kṛṣṇa are able to achieve. How great is Kṛṣṇa and how great is coming in touch with Kṛṣṇa. How wonderful is this? And how easy it is. So, but even the enemies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead attain that position simply by thinking of the Supreme Lord. However, Now look at the exalted. What are we trying to prove here? The position of the gopis. What is the exalted position of the gopis? So what is so great in getting Brahman realization after following all that difficult path? Even Krishna's enemies are able to get that. However, the damsels of Vraja, the gopis, being attracted by the beauty of Krishna. So this is the opposite, not enmity. They are not thinking of Krishna out of enmity. They're just attracted by the beauty of Krishna. They are attracted by the arms of Krishna. The gopis being attracted by the beauty of Krishna, simply wanting to embrace him. Oh, he's so beautiful. They're young young ladies. And they're seeing Krishna, who's also a young, boy. And they see, oh, he's so beautiful, he's so attractive. They have a desire to embrace him. And they see his arms, they're just like serpents. So powerful. They have a desire to go and embrace his arms. That's all. They are just attracted to the beauty of Krishna and attracted to the arms of Krishna. Thus, the gopis ultimately tasted the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord. That which is not possible for these great sages, the gopis are able to get simply by getting attracted to the beautiful form of the Lord. That means how great is the love of these gopis, their attraction. What is the quality of this gopi bhava? How great is this? That simply by attraction for Krishna, they are able to get the lotus feet of the Lord, which even great yogis are not able to get. Thus, the gopis ultimately tasted the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, who is saying this verse? This is the verse spoken by the Vedas in glorification of the Lord. They're saying, my Lord, you are not available even to great sages, great yogis. You are not available, but you are available to the gopis. How wonderful is the love of the gopis. So, similarly, we Upanishads can also taste the nectar of his lotus feet by following in the footsteps of the gopis. So, the Vedas are glorifying Krishna. They're glorifying the Supreme Lord. And they're getting such attraction. Oh, we also want to serve the Lord. We also want to relish, right? We also want to... They're getting attraction for bhakti. The way the Vrajvasis have. In that also the gopis have. And they're saying, how easily, simply by being attracted to you, the gopis got, we will follow in the footsteps of gopis and we will also be able to get the lotus feet of the Lord, the way the gopis got. So they got attracted to the love of the gopis and they decided that by following in the footsteps of gopis, we will also be able to taste the lotus feet of Krishna, specifically in conjugal rasa, right? Gopis of Krishna means, the Sakhis means they are in conjugal rasa. So they want to relish. We Upanishads can also taste the nectar of his lotus feet by following in the footsteps of the gopis. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1087-23, spoken by the Shrutis, the personified Vedas. We can stop there today. Because we got a gap in between few days, I gave an overview or a recap of the context of what we were discussing. And then we just covered one verse today. So we will continue tomorrow. Thank you all so much. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you. Okay, so we will end here. I will see you tomorrow. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Srila Kṛṣṇa Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Samaveta Gaur
Jai.
Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.